In this video, I'll give you 23 Dubai UAE based predictions that are not speculative but will happen in the year 2026. And how I'm sure about this is because, if you follow my channel, you know that I'm always in touch with the businessmen, HR professionals, people at the senior level in companies, simply because I lived there for 40 years. So these relationships, most of them have remained. And what I tend to do is I speak to them one to one because they can't mention this information online. And if you have lived in UAE, you know that the media, especially social media, is very controlled. So if you post anything, you will be called. If you post publicly, you will be called either to the police station, or someone can, say that you are trying to insult the country, or you're posting something that is offensive. So the points that I'll be giving you is what people at the senior level know. Businessmen are already starting to prepare, and most of the individuals who are financially savvy or are in touch with government officials, they are taking the precautions or the due diligence. Why I'm sharing this with you is, one is simply because I no longer live in UAE, so I can tell you the truth. And secondly is because majority of my target market, they live in Dubai, UAE, or the Middle East, and they're very interested. So I mentioned, I'll share with you the 23 points. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment down below, and I definitely will be reading them. Having said that, the first biggest point that you have to know is UAE is under serious discussion of rolling out income tax, and that would be after looking at the reactions or what happens in other markets like Oman. The other Gulf countries are also considering this, simply because they can't live on oil money forever. And given the fact that there is inflation, the upcoming recession, so governments have to decide and think, how are we going to make money? Dubai anyway will be a hotbed destination for all business people with lots of money, people who want to convert black money to white, people who want to park or invest their money without being questioned. So UAE will always be an attractive hub, but for the lower and middle class, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. So mentally prepare. It's not going to happen immediately in the year 2026, but you can be rest assured that you have to start taking all the measures possible to keep the necessary funds parked. Otherwise, you're going to see your income, the government taking a share of what it believes is necessary for you to stay in the country. Because always keep in mind, Dubai is a business hub. It is not a country which is going to offer you citizenship, and it definitely is not looking for poor people or people who cannot contribute to the economy. So first one, income tax for sure. And stay tuned for what is going to happen in Oman. Kuwait also is going to raise expenses for expatriates specifically. And Saudi is also looking at options whereby they need to make money as well. They have spent a lot of money on promoting Saudi as, as good as Dubai, from boxing matches, MMA matches, entertainment. There are so many videos circulating around of rave parties. It's unbelievable. But obviously, it is all censored, and the government doesn't want it to be explicitly shown. There are some explicit videos. Obviously, I can't show them to you. The second one is the government charges for registration of companies, setting up bank accounts, government services. All of them are going to be increased. If you just compare, let's say, for example, a small one, let's say before a particular registration was 5,000 dirhams. Now they might charge you 5,250 or 5,500. You might say, yeah, that's not a big deal. But when you multiply it with, let's say, 1 million new individuals who have, landed in UAE for the past 1 or 2 years, well, that is a substantial amount. Remember, every penny counts. So, and when you add that to all the other expenses, they say, in Chinese, there's a saying, death by 1,000 cuts. Imagine if your water, electricity has increased, your rent has increased, your parking fees has increased, your road toll has increased, your water, electricity bill has increased, your registration for your apartment has increased. All this, it forms a sizable chunk. And don't take it for granted, because I've even spoken to businessmen who they're not multimillionaires, they are millionaires. And they themselves are feeling the pinch, because they're saying, you charge me for people I employ, you charge me for business, you charge me for my warehouse, you charge me for distribution, you charge me for petrol, you charge me, it eats into your profit and savings. So number two is the government charges, and there'll be plenty of hidden charges. So make sure that you have a look at your bill and question whether it's the government or whether it is the banking system. Obviously, you can't challenge them in the sense, how dare you, that kind of thing. But when you do get your charges, compare them, keep your receipts, and figure out. Ask them politely. Last time it was this time it is this. Why is that? What is something extra? So at least you'll be aware. Number three is loans, as you know, is now becoming accessible to people who are earning less than 5,000. This, what it's going to do is encourage a lot of people who are living hand to mouth when they want a little bit of liquidity to take loans. But then this in turn forms the bedrock of having people living in debt. And most of the people overestimate their ability to have self-control, and they end up spending, unconsciously. And what will happen is, once they, first they will take the money and pay it back, take the money, pay it back, take the money. But one slip up after you take the money and then you don't pay it back, that is where you fall into the trap. And quite a number of people will be trapped in this debt, because remember, the people who are earning less than 5,000, they do not have financial literacy or financial self-control. That is why they are not rich. And once they get into debt, now they'll start paying interest to the banks. Then there'll be hidden charges. Then there'll be late payment fees. Always remember, the banks are not your friend. They are just looking to make money out of you, and they will achieve that. So you're going to see a lot more people in debt. Initially, they're going to be happy. Later on, they're going to be absolutely miserable, and then they'll be clinging onto their jobs with their lives. Number four, this is a given. This has always happened every year. Rents are going to climb higher. I spoke to a couple of real estate chaps, and they're saying the prime properties, which are heavy in demand, they're going to just shoot up. And it's a good news for people who are flipping properties, or who are kind of giving them out for rent. They can make a lot of money, and they'll be happier. But the people who are staying there, they're not going to be so happy. And shockingly, which has always happened, rents can climb anything from minimum of 20. The highest I've known is 50%. Seriously, your rent, if it was like 100, next year they said 150, and they give you an ultimatum. You want to stay, you stay. You don't want to stay, you can leave. They'll immediately get somebody else who will pay much more rent than you, and then they'll set a new benchmark. So make sure that you have some savings for rent, or decide and start searching for new places to stay, because it does make sense that you'll spend the major chunk of your revenue just to stay in a place where you'll not be there for majority of the day. You only come there to sleep. So keep that in mind. Number five, more projects will be launched. And one more thing about the rents part. The developers of all these communities, they're going to increase with maintenance charges, security charges, anything and every other service, whether paint jobs or whether repair works, everything is going to increase a percentage. And if you try to complain, well, you will be given a warning, and you can't come together and take them to court or complain to the authorities, because these real estate companies, they have a very strong legal team. And remember, whatever you have signed, there is a fine print which they don't share with you, and that is where your hands are tied. So next point is, more projects will be launched. Dubai loves to announce projects like Shah Rukh Khan's tower, and this tower, that tower. The question is, will they complete it? Like, I'll give you a very simple an example. Remember the tower which had Sheikh Mohammed's fingerprint, and they made such a big noise? What happened to that? Nobody knows. Remember Nakil's project, the Mile High Tower? What happened to that? They announced big hoo-ha in the papers. What happened? Nothing. So Dubai can keep announcing projects, keep taking your money. You give key money, maybe it can be 10%, whatever, and they say you're the owner. Will they deliver is a big question. See, they can talk a lot. Remember, they announced, we are planning to launch a person and go to Mars. We are going to make UAE the cryptocurrency hub of the world. What happened to all that? Do you remember flying taxis? how many years they have been saying flying taxis are going to be a reality. We are going to have a police which is going to have a complete robot, cyborg kind of machine force. They're going to have cops on Segway. You're going to have them on horses. All this, so much hoo-ha they made. Did they deliver? No. The thing is, when they announce billions of dollars of free publicity, and once it finishes, it's gone. Best example I'll give you, just type Google search Pearl residence. What happened to it? Millions was put. The floating unicorn houses, I think it was. They took millions. They showed a demo. The house was floating in the water. What happened to it? Total failure. So, if you post something negative about them, it is retracted from the newspapers. Why? Because these rental companies pay these newspapers, will sponsor, let's say, $100,000 worth of ads in your paper. But the condition, remove that. So, and I've even known where journalists are made to apologize to these companies, and the salt on the wounds is the very same reporter who wrote negative about them is asked to meet them and write something positive. So imagine the embarrassment. This is how UAE works. So along with more projects that are going to be launched, you will have more rental companies coming up. Obviously, because that is a booming market, you're going to have more women, especially from Eastern European countries, who will try to attract and trap people into signing up, buying properties. You'll see a lot under the table activities. But then again, this is business. Everything goes. And it's just like how Elon Musk, how did he hype up the numbers? He said, if you want to book, his Tesla truck, just put, I think, $1,000 and it's going to be in your name. So everyone tried to brag about it, $1,000. I'm going to be the owner of a Tesla. Did Elon Musk deliver? Absolutely not. Did anyone question it? Absolutely not. Just swiped it under the rug and kept quiet about it, and nobody talks about it anymore. Elon Musk's underground tunnels to make traffic go faster. Big noise. Did he deliver? No. Elon Musk's boring company. Did he deliver? No. Elon Musk's solar city. Big talk. Did he deliver? No. So the problem is these rich folks keep making big promises. Do they deliver? No. Same way, these rental companies are going to participate in all the hype, going to make money out of it, non-refundable. People are going to brag. Some are going to be smart. They're going to buy the house, and then they're going to find some guy who will fall for it, resell it to him. They make their money. They made their commission. Bye-bye. And then this guy is stuck with, when will you deliver? How long will it take? Promises need not be kept. So you'll see much more of that. But there will be a massive spike in the number of rental companies, and that is why most of the salespeople will join. And they'll be asked to join purely based on commission. So most of them will try to fake it because they have to survive, right? So be careful of that. Don't believe in these promises. Number 7 is salaries. See, remember, salaries is one of the biggest expense that a company has. Very big expense. So because business is going to be affected, I'll come to that a few points later. There is going to be a lot of challenges in the market. So what they'll tend to do is, which is very common in UAE, let's say there are 10 people in a department, each one getting 1,000. What they'll do is, so it's 10,000. So what they'll do is they will ask 5 people to take the job of the other 5, and will bump your salary to $500 more instead of that full 1,000. And all you got to do is we'll give you a better designation, will increase salary, but you have to do 2 people's work. So where they were paying 10,000 before, now they're paying 7,500, and these 5 people are doing 10 people's job. So they're going to ensure that there's going to be a merger of roles, cost cutting, and people are going to slog more. In fact, you will see people working from day to, literally late in the evenings and hardly have a family life. The only time is when they go 2 days a week, they spend time in their homes. But then again, that is also a major question. And when that takes place, you're going to have the result, which is going to be major layoffs in companies. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. They're going to be in the market. They're going to search for jobs. The only saving grace for them is before in UAE 10 years ago, if you lost your job, you had to leave the country within 1 to 2 months. Now, because you can purchase a visa, or you can purchase, let's say, pay some money, register a business, give yourself a visa to stay in the country, many of them will be opting for that. So without having to leave the country, they can keep applying for jobs. However, that will lead to an offset of excessive demand for jobs where before 10 people were applying for one job, now you have 20 people applying for one job. Companies will have a better option and they will be able to negotiate better. Your negotiation power reduces, unless, of course, you have the edge by having a rock solid experience and a track record. Otherwise, you're going to be at their mercy because remember, they don't need you. Whether you're there or not there, their business continues. But you need to earn and provide for your family. So that's going to be a travesty of kinds. Number 9 is companies will withdraw the perks and benefits that they have given you. Let's say they give you petrol expenses, they're going to cut that down. Many of them would say there are too many fines, there's too much on Salik, they're going to limit that. Salik is a road toll, parking fees, they're going to say, okay, before we used to give unlimited, now we'll give you limited. So they can absolutely do that. And the worst part in this is whereby they are going to delay your salaries or not pay you your salary. And that is going to be another big challenge. I'll give you an additional point, which I'll just mark it down here. That is the biggest crisis you're going to see is a lot of companies will promise you the sun, moon, and stars, ask you to join them, and then they will not pay your salaries. And then when you demand and ask for your salary, finally, when your patience runs out after 2-3 months, they're going to tell you, you are working for us on your visa, which is not legal, and you can go to the ministry and complain. They're going to put you in trouble because you broke the law and you were working. We, on the other hand, will say that we were processing your visa, but it didn't work out. So you don't have any evidence or proof. And I'll tell you, if they have a strong legal team, there's nothing you can do about it. They can drag you into the muddy waters and just take it forever. You will not be able to win against people who have the resources. So fraud employment contracts will be a dime a dozen. They will give you the job, they will not pay you, or they will not honor the contract. Or if they promised you, let's say, $3,000 salary, they'll pay you maybe 1,000, and they'll say, take it or leave it. Number 11 is recession has already hit the UAE market. Inflation has also created a massive havoc, but the government is doing its level best to cover it from going into the news or talking negative because they don't want anyone to hear anything bad. Dubai is always good, bling bling, expensive cars, limitless pools. You'll tend to see all that. I'll speak more about it a little later. So they just want to sell you the concept that Dubai is paradise. There's nothing to worry about. Set up your business, enjoy. And they'll always show you photographs and videos of JBR, Jumeirah Beach residences, expensive places. They'll not show you like Sonapur or the labor camps area, or you'll never see middle-class people. In their marketing material, it's always the rich and famous and the happy and the beautiful. Everything is happy. Number 12, if you are an industry expert with a massive track record, you can demand a good salary. There are still very good salaries being paid, but it is only for, let's say, the 80-20 principle. If you are the 20% of the best or the creme de la creme, which is 10%, yes, you do get good salaries. How do I know that? Is because I know people who have got good jobs, good salary, especially in Qatar, whereby since they're not giving new visas to people who are coming into the country, the people who have experience, they offer them very good, attractive salaries because there's a small, limited pool of talent. They want people who stayed in Qatar for long to continue staying there, and they'll offer you exceptional benefits. I know 2 guys who lost very good paying packages, and they really didn't know what was going to happen next. And lo and behold, they ended up getting 1.5 times more than what they had before. So Qatar is following a very different, master plan. Then you have number 13, and I hate to break this out to you, although it looks like I'm being an anti-Indian hater, or though I have an Indian passport, but the tsunami of Indians to India, to UAE, is going to increase. Investors, businessmen, because the tax-free concept will attract them. And then you have these, people who are earning basic salaries. They'll take loans. They'll sell off their land, property, just to try to get a job in UAE. A lot of consultancy services. You must have seen the ad. Hi, my name is so and so. I'll give you the cost calculator. Yes, enter your details and you'll get a cost. You must have seen that female talking. So a lot of people who come there with big hopes, and once they come down to UAE, they're busy searching for jobs. So Indians forming the highest population in the world, you're going to see a lot more Indians, more than you'd want. And then, yes, other countries, UK job market is pretty bad. Europe, lots of people losing their jobs. And here's the irony. Even in those countries, there are Indians. So you're going to see too many Indians, too many job seekers. And that in turn leads to the next point is traffic is going to get so bad that before, if you would spend 1 hour in the traffic, now you're going to spend 1.5 hours in traffic. So imagine if you spend 1 hour going to work and 1 hour coming back. So it's 2 hours of your life every day. Now it's 1.5, so it's 3 hours. So it doesn't make any sense of whether you take the Salik, road toll. It's all a gimmick. This road toll, they made big predictions. Once we introduce road toll, people will choose alternate transport. It's total bullshit here. The trains travel in a straight line. So if you go in a straight line, if you want to go here, how do you go here? You'll have to take a cab, and then that eats up into your savings. And don't think for a minute cabs are affordable. Very, very expensive. I've literally heard that the minimum starting amount is, in some places, it goes up to 25 dirhams. And then even if you are stuck in traffic, the waiting charges are there. And it's kind of crazy, man. Just doesn't make sense. So traffic is going to get worse. And just imagine having to spend the whole day in your car. There are many people who I know that who go early and sleep in their car just to avoid the traffic. They go, travel early, park their car near the office, sleep in the car, so they don't have to, spend time in traffic. It's terrible, but this is what it is. Point number 15 is fines are going to get more expensive. You're having these robot taxis and AI installed machines on top of cop cars. So they don't have to stop a car. They just keep driving. The camera picks up. You didn't put your seat belt. You're driving, even, let's say, 2, 3, or 5 kilometers faster than the allotted time. Click, snap your details with the car number plate. You'll receive an SMS immediately. So they're making fines much more easier to get. And that in turn is going to affect you a lot. So having a car, it's not just the petrol. It's the fines and the parking that's going to eat more. In fact, when I spoke to a businessman, he said more expensive than the petrol is what I'm spending for parking and for the fines and for the road toll. In fact, some places, I was very surprised, like premium areas, $50, 50. And if you're late by even a few seconds, the cameras, they just take a photograph of your car and you get the SMS. Just imagine a few minutes before, when they had manual, checking by inspectors, they would be a little lenient. Okay, you're 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Next time, don't do it. But now when you have an AI system, flash, and you lose a major chunk of your hard-earned money. Point number 16 is there are going to be more parking fees. There are going to be much more areas which are going to be under the banner of parking charges. Road tolls are going to increase. In fact, they are even in discussion to have another road toll somewhere. In fact, I think the whole of Dubai is going to be filled with road tolls, and it's just crazy, man. Other Emirates are trying to copy this format. They're not been so successful, but eventually it will, and especially when you have the gambling, resorts which are coming there. So they're looking at how to recoup their money. So you're going to be their target audience where they're going to ask you money. And let me tell you, Dubai is paying very close attention to those, Ras Al Khaimah gambling resorts, because then Dubai, 1,000,000%, I can assure you, they will also start the gambling resorts. End of the day, if they're making money, why not, Dubai also make money? Because these businesses are such where the house always wins. It's not you. And then when people have a lot of black money, or they have money to throw from Ukrainian, Irish, British, Russian, underworld mafia, or people with a lot of unaccounted money, why not? Dubai also can be a part of the money-making process. Number 17, this is such a commonplace. It's become a daily news. Companies scamming people of their life savings and running away. In fact, the number has increased so much. Now when I get any update on news, I'm like, who the hell is interested to listen to another scam? It's become so common. People are like, hey, come on, man. You told me this news 2 days ago, 3 days ago. This is another company. So every day you'll get one company in the news, lost millions, ran away millions, scam. And so it's become Dubai has become the scam center of the world, unfortunately, so to speak. Number 18 is it's not that all businesses are scams, but legit businesses are going to default on their payments. Why? Because if somebody didn't pay them, they can't pay the other person, and the other person can't pay someone else. And then you have a domino effect. But the unfortunate thing is, if you have to pay the government, they don't care whether you're scammed, they don't care you're cheated. You pay me my money, I don't care who has scammed you. That's your headache. So you're going to see many payment defaults, and good, legit businesses are going to suffer because of this. 19 is many people will abscond from UAE without paying their bills. Companies will shut down. You must have seen in the newspaper, once again, full warehouse with working office. Now, when they came to collect their checks or the money, the whole warehouse is empty. The full office floor in Business Bay empty. Very commonplace. These are fraudsters, but the legit folks, they don't want to spend their whole life in jail or to have a travel ban where they can't go back home. So they'll also, without telling anyone, one day just run. And who are the people who suffer? The employees of the company for whom salary and gratuity is due. And then along with them, whom they had to pay, all those companies suffer. So you're going to see good, honest people have a very, very tough time. Number 20, you will see once again a massive spike in crypto companies, quick online get-rich companies, great investments, 30%, 10% per month, trading companies, forex companies, online businesses, because it's very hard to track them. They will make tall claims. They will claim that they're part of the government. It is regulated. All this is like the UFC fighter Khabib says, number one bullshit. You will see these companies promise you sun, moon, and stars, initially give you payments, but eventually they will close down or they'll run away and people will be made to suffer. You'll see a lot of sad stories, sob stories of hardworking people lose all their money, share the painful news in the paper. But then again, sometimes I wonder, when will these guys ever learn? So it's going to be a massive spike next year. Just imagine the UAE government knows all this is happening, still it doesn't regulate. Why? Because end of the day, they're making money, right? They get a slice of the pie. So registration, payment of charges, money gets, liquidity flows into the market. And Dubai itself has introduced and said, we want to be the cryptocurrency hub of the world. If they say no to crypto, they will lose a huge amount of money where these guys stay. In fact, in the newspaper, so many people who are banned or wanted in their countries, they live in Dubai with big houses and living luxuriously. I think that was Binance or Coinbase, right? The CEO. They're living happily in UAE. You think the government doesn't know all this? In fact, the Irish mobsters, British gangsters, Ukrainian mafia, people from Russia who are wanted. You think UAE has no idea? In fact, the most popular, famous, infamous, Dawood Ibrahim, who's wanted in India, he's staying very happily he stayed for years and years openly. And he had the wedding of his child, of his daughter, of his whatever. Who did anything? And people used to take photographs and share it online. Nothing happened to it. So this is going to continue. Number 21 is for the lay people, bills. The expenses are going to increase by, anything from 10% to higher. And if you have a grocery shopping list and you maintain an Excel sheet, you'll compare and you'll see last year what you paid versus this year what you paid. It's going to be higher. In fact, companies themselves are doing this. Manufacturers, like you must have check Google search Toblerone chocolates before it had these peak. Now it used to have like a finger space in between the chocolates. Now it is like a 2-finger space between the chocolates. So lesser chocolate, same price. It's called shrinkflation. So you buy a big packet of Lay's or chips. It looks very big and puffy, but when you open it, what is it? Just 10% down below, small 6 pieces of chips, and you're paying for the price as if it's a big bag of chips. So everything, the price is going to increase, and you're going to get lesser value for money. School fees, the government regulates the school fees, but schools are going to figure out a way to charge the parents more, and they're going to, maybe co-curricular activities or something or another. They will figure out a way to charge you more money, and end of the day, having a child going to school, and you'll be paying an arm, a leg just for the expenses. In fact, if you see my previous videos where I've shared with you today, what a parent is paying for a child for kindergarten or for, just standard 1 or standard 2, grade 1, grade 2 class is equivalent to what someone would pay for an MBA. It has become that expensive anyway. So how do people sustain? Imagine if you have 2 children, you're going to spend 10 years, 20 years worth of savings just to get their education. And after their education, there's no guarantee that they're going to get jobs. In fact, Dubai based education doesn't have recognition anywhere in the world. You say, oh, I studied in Dubai. Oh, okay, you studied in Dubai. They'll just nod their head. And the new generation that is coming with their degrees, they are so self entitled. They don't want to work for smaller salaries. So many of them try all these internet based business online, coaching online, being a freelancer, thinking, oh, I'll get 7-figure income by this online business, e-commerce. There's no shortcut. Eventually, they'll realize it's not working. I need to get a job. And then when you have AI replacing junior level jobs, where does this generation go? So you're paid 10 years or 20 years of your savings for these kids to complete their education, only to have them not getting a job. And most of the parents, they're sending their children abroad. And now you have the problem with the US saying, we don't want all these immigrants and foreigners coming here, and you don't take our jobs. We'll not offer you citizenship even if you study here. So it's a massive conundrum that these parents have to pay. Hardworking people spend 20, 30 years of their savings, which they could have kept for their retirement. In fact, I know one of my friends who's a CEO. He has 2 kids, 5 years of education, I think, in Canada. He's spending 1 million dirhams. Just imagine 1 million dirhams, which took him like 20 years or 25 years to save. And he has told his kids, listen, I've given you my retirement money. You have to pay me back. Otherwise, I have nowhere to stay. So that's how sad it is for normal folks, Number 23 is there are going to be more social media news. Mainstream media channels are not going to report anything negative about UAE. So social media content is going to increase. But then those who speak negative about UAE will be called to the police, the cybercrime division. They monitor the information that is going out. And how they will replace this is sponsored social media content creators. As you know, that social media now, you need to have a license, you need to be regulated so they can track the content you're putting. Others, you're going to be in trouble. They can even fine you. And they'll pay them to put only positive content. Why do you think you see so many influences? What they say, Habibi, come to Dubai, limitless pool, gold-plated, luxury car. They'll show you people in nightclubs, females in the bikini dancing on yachts, having a penthouse party. I'm seriously telling you, I've seen videos where all the females are dressed up in skimpy clothes in the pool. Guys are dancing, DJs are playing, and champagne, alcohol is floating. And you begin to wonder, isn't this supposed to be an Islamic country? Islamic, you can throw it all out. It's anything goes as long as you enjoy. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. So they just want to tell you that you got money, you can enjoy life. Come down here. So they dangle a carrot and make temptation as a selling point. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if one day they legalize weed like how they've legalized alcohol. And last but not the least, point number 24 is stress levels are going to increase like mad. People are going to be very stressed. Like I told you, I spoke to one of my business friends. This guy is a millionaire, and he shocked me by telling me, Loy, I have millions, yes, but it's become so stressful. I don't know how I'm going to manage. He's saying, because I'm earning millions, but then I have to spend millions to maintain this lifestyle of millions. And I can't act poor or be conservative because Dubai is a land where everyone shows off. There is bling. If you don't drive, let's say, a Bentley or a Range Rover, full options, people look down on you. So when I park this uber expensive car in front of a bank or front of, let's say, a company that I want to do business, or let's say at a VIP conference, I get respect. I go with a cheap car, or cheap in the sense anything lower than that. You're saying people look, they don't even bother. So I have to overcompensate for my appearances just to get a legal, just to get entry at the door, or just to even be entertained to get a business inquiry. So you're saying, I don't know how long can I carry this facade. So that's how it is. It's not like you earn millions and you can be a simple guy. UAE, at least Dubai, is not the place. So he's literally borderline diabetic, blood pressure. He has gained weight, saying I'm under so much stress. Sometimes I can't sleep at night. I'm tossing and turning. So if a millionaire is telling me this, that he finds day-to-day living, shopping, expenses, children's expense, all this expensive, you can imagine for the middle class person. And his biggest fear is, my clients are delaying their payment. I have to literally go sit down in their office, literally like begging, give me the money. And if they don't pay me, I can't pay my suppliers. So What do I do? So these are the predictions. I know I said 22, it has gone to 24, but I hope they give you some insight. Stay prepared. I'm not saying Dubai is a bad place, but then these are the challenges which you have to face if you have to stay there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Good, bad, ugly. Love to hear from you. And you guys take care. Yeah, bye.